What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Shawn Gill CPA. This is a Shawn Gill CPA podcast. This is Kevin.
How's it going, everyone? I'm Kevin Breeze. I've been on the show before, but I've still got a bit more to talk about, I guess. So
You're also my co-host.
Well, yeah, I am your co-host, but yeah, so it's good to be back again, and I'm really looking forward to the topic of this particular show.
So today's topic is something that, from the way I understand it, completely changed the trajectory of your business.
Absolutely.
And can probably change the trajectory of most people's business. And I think in this modern economy, if you're not utilizing it, you don't even have a business, like a viable business.
Mm-hmm.
So the topic is niching down. And I guess on top of that, micro niching.
Yeah. So the concept of niching, I mean, a lot of people probably understand the concept of niching, but really to get the most out of niching down, you have to really, really niche down, which we'll elaborate on. Yeah, micro niche, right? Or even micro niche. Yeah. So we'll get more into that as the show continues on. But that's pretty much going to be the main focus of the show.
So I guess just to like put in the perspective of a story, how was your business doing before you kind of found your niche?
Sure. Okay, so I'll give you a really quick background on my business if you hadn't watched prior episodes. So basically my business, or at least one of my businesses, I review tech products on YouTube. So you would think that reviewing tech products is a niche. And while it is more of a niche than nothing, it's not enough of a niche nowadays. And basically when I started my channel and I wanted to review tech related products, whether it's smartphones, tablets, laptops, battery packs, cables, projectors, yeah, anything really, anything that maybe you'd find at Best Buy, right? I considered fair game for my channel. Now, individually, certain videos would do well, but I was having trouble getting any sort of following. I had at one point, well, I have more subscribers now, but at one point I had 20,000 subscribers. But they came from all kinds of different videos. Like some subscribers came from my laptop content. Some subscribers came from my smartphone content. Some subscribers came from my battery power pack content. And the problem is that if I would upload a video about a certain type of tech, like a laptop, well, everyone that subscribed for other types of tech would never watch that video. So it turned out that I had 20,000 subscribers and I would get like 100 views on a video, which wouldn't make any sense in theory because of that, that many people subscribing. Yeah. But the point is that I'm trying to make here is that people subscribe for one particular thing, typically. If you end up being a personality where people are watching you more just for you as a personality, then I suppose the niche isn't quite as important. Like Casey Neistat, for example, he's a vlogger, and he'll cover a variety of different things. Yeah. But you can finish that thought. I feel like people are watching because they like him.
Yeah, I feel like, but you don't want to kind of rely on that model, I feel like, to build a business, because I don't want to say he got lucky, because he obviously worked for where he's at, but there's a lot of chance that plays into becoming a personality. Right. That's like essentially trying to make a business out of just being famous. Yeah. Which is like not a viable business plan. It's just like, I'm going to get famous and people are going to watch my stuff because I'm so famous.
Yeah. Typically, it doesn't really play out that way. Like, I'll say for myself, no, people don't watch just because maybe some people do, but
now they might.
Yeah. Maybe, but people aren't watching my content because of me. They're watching my content because of
the value
that they're getting out of the content. Same with you. I really doubt anyone's listening to this podcast right now just because they love hearing your voice.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly. It's because whatever we're talking about might apply to them. They might have been Google searching how to niche down or something. This might have came up.
The other issue with not niching down is that you'll try to be the jack of all trades, but then the master of nothing.
Yeah.
So anyway, getting back into my situation that I had, so I was, making videos about this type of tech, that type of tech, and I wasn't getting very good engagement. Now, I wasn't exactly sure what to do, why this was happening, but I got a suggestion from a good friend of mine who's already doing this, and he said, why don't you just focus on smartphones? But better yet, micro niche, beyond, well, I guess you could say smartphones is a micro niche, but micro niching the micro niche. So I switched to focusing on smartphones that are $300 or less. Now, sometimes, let me be clear too about micro niching. You could still make an occasional video outside of the micro niche, but you want about probably 90% of your content to be within that micro niche.
Yeah.
So then when I switched to making content about smartphones under $300, I became an expert in that particular category. So now when people know that I'm the person to go to for information about that, because they know that that's literally all I do. Whereas if I covered a little bit of everything, people might, they might still value my opinion about stuff, but I mean, if I've only owned a couple of smartphones under $300, how am I a expert or an authority on that topic? I'm really not.
But when you niche down, you actually develop expertise just by living in the niche.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now what I do is that I only focus on that niche. I only do smartphones under $300, and I buy literally every single one that comes out, which ends up being, for major companies at least, Samsung, LG, TCL. What's another?
I don't even know they made phones.
Motorola. Motorola's a big one. Yeah. So basically, I focus on that micro niche, and I buy all the phones that come out from major brands in that price, in that price category. And if anyone who's interested in that price category is looking for a recommendation, and maybe they watch a variety of different creators, they already know I'm the person to ask about that stuff, because I literally bought every single one. So,
and the way for people that might not know how to translate that to like their own business, a good example of this would be like lawyers. Like you could say being a lawyer is a niche, but like that's not really true. And then you could say in their like personal injury is a niche, but the lawyers that low-key make the most money or something is like, or not something, the lawyers that make a lot of money consistently have literally one type of case that they cover over and over again. DUI lawyers. It's like, they're kind of criminal lawyers, but they're not just every kind of crime. It's very specific to DUIs. They know everything about the laws in their state or their jurisdiction about DUIs and how to kind of work those cases. They know the judges that might be working those cases. And, they literally advertise, like they have the billboards. I'm sure you've seen them, like DUI lawyers. And and they get very consistent income, and probably they become known in their like local area as being like the DUI guy. Like we had a lawyer we met in college. He came and spoke to us, and he only did like getting people out of like marijuana
and other drugs and stuff. Basically, if people got caught with drugs, it's like he's the guy.
Yeah. So like he didn't try to become like a contract law expert and like a family law expert, a divorce lawyer. He like literally was like small drug charges. That's my thing. That's all I know. And he would hand out like lighters with like his logo on them just to like really, and he had a following on like social media from what I remember, and he was like writing articles and stuff and getting featured because he was an expert in his field. So like another way for that is like for accountants, like people like me, like you might think like, oh, just doing tax is a niche. That's not a niche. You could say, oh, small business tax. That's not a niche. But if I only did tax for construction companies that did between like 500,000 to $1 million in revenue, that's a niche, because that's like a very specific. Now that doesn't mean that I can't have the occasional like law firm as a client or something, right? But if my expertise is I know every deduction around running a construction business, I know the ins and outs of construction businesses, finances and their accounting, and just how to like maximize their efficiency so they can minimize their taxes, I could run a monopoly on the local construction company tax game, basically. And I would probably make more money than the accountant next to me who just does any small businesses taxes. Because
if someone needs that done, they know that you're the guy for it.
And they know, compared to me or the accountant that they have right now, if they're a construction company, there's a 95% chance I'm better at that than their general accountant.
Right.
Like I might, if I know like one specific thing that can save them $30,000 in taxes that their general guy doesn't know, they've made a better decision. So it's like you can, like on YouTube, versus watching some random YouTuber that just makes videos about all sorts of different things. You know what's popping on every new phone. You can compare like the smallest part of each phone to each other and give like a certain kind of value that the average
Yeah.
YouTuber who just covers every phone can't.
Right. Yeah. Now, of course, there, a counter argument to what we're suggesting, at least for YouTube, would be like, oh, well, Unbox Therapy, he covers everything.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yes, but
Or MKBHD.
yeah, or MKBHD, or those types of people. Yeah. I mean, they do. It works for them. That's fine. But if you're gonna break into the market right now, I would highly recommend niching down when you break into things. I mean, you could expand. Keep that in mind too.
Once you got like a foothold.
Also,
on
think
a
about this
certain
like
part
for a
of it.
lawyer. Maybe they're like a DUI lawyer, right? But once they really grow like their empire for like being known for that, they could then
They can
expand
add.
into other things.
Yeah.
Right. But when you're getting started though, and you have no reputation at all about anything, you definitely want to focus on one thing and be really good at that one thing.
Yeah, like I feel like professional services is a great example
Mm-hmm.
for that, because it's like if I'm an accountant, so if I came up to like a bunch of random businesses, like, hey, I'm just really good at all sorts of tax. What do you guys
Mm-hmm.
need? They're gonna be like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But if I really target one niche, I'm more likely to take people's clients,
Yeah.
just because if they have a general accountant and I'm a niche in their industry, I just have more pull and more expertise, as well as it's just an easier sell. Like if this is
Yeah.
it's just easy to tell somebody, yo, I live and breathe your industry. This is all I look at every day. I've worked with 50 companies in this area that do exactly what you do. I work with all of your competitors.
Yeah.
Don't you want the same edge? Like that's just an
Yeah.
easier sell than.
Yeah.
And then or the lawyer could add another service line. Like they could expand from like, I only do DUIs to now I do marijuana related charges. Now I do other crimes, and eventually, they can expand out. But yeah, it's just hard to get known as a general practitioner. And I feel like the reason why a niche is important these days is just because the economy has changed. Like,
Well,
would
and
you
that's the
agree?
thing, a lot of, whether it's content creation, being a doctor, being a lawyer, accountant, it's already very
Painters.
saturated with plenty of competition. So the only way to really break out of that, to make yourself noteworthy is to
To niche
specialize
down.
in
Yeah.
something, to niche down, to specialize. Maybe if you're in like a small town where you're like the only lawyer, then yeah, you could pull it
Yeah.
off and do everything, but you're probably not going to
But
be
in
as
the
good as
general-
lawyers in other areas.
Yeah.
In
And
other
just to be
cities.
clear, this is like a modern day issue, because like if you study older businesses, you're not going to see this pattern there, because back when the economy was younger, like even 20 years ago, everything wasn't as saturated. Now it's easy. It's way easier now to do anything than it was before. It's easier to
Yeah.
become a lawyer now. It's easier to become a doctor, easier to become an accountant, graphic artist, a painter, construction person, like.
Yeah.
And because of that, like you said, everything is saturated. So if you even want a shot when everybody's doing the same thing as you, you have to specialize before, like,
Yeah.
because I feel like people ask like their OGs or like their elders of like, so how did you get started as a lawyer? And they might say like, oh, well, I just studied under some other guy. And
Yeah.
like,
And I was
it
the
was
only
easy.
one in my town. And
yeah, it's like, that's just not true anymore. Like in the
No.
modern economy, like you might be the 15th lawyer, like in your block. Like,
Right.
you might be the 700th website designer in your zip code. Like it's just harder. Like it's just, and so if you don't adapt to that, you're going to get killed out there. Like you're not even going to get on your feet. So you have to adapt to the new economy and learn about that.
Yeah. I've got
There's
another
that
good
saying-
example. So let's say you need to get heart surgery. Are you going to go to the doctor that does
Every
heart
kind of
surgery, plastic surgery, ear, nose, and throat,
Yeah.
dermatology, knee replacements, or are you going to go to the person that only does heart surgery?
They've been
right?
doing it for like 27 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and only does that, and they're the best at that. Yeah, you're gonna go to those people. So again, when you try to be great at everything, or you try to offer everything, it really backfires, because everyone's like, oh, this person, they claim they can do everything, so clearly they probably aren't very good at anything.
Yeah.
So, and it plays off, into content, anything. Here's another example that I'm thinking, this is a really good one, actually. So how about Raising Cane's? They literally have
Well, tell
one.
people they might not know.
Okay,
that.
yeah. So
not
it's like
everywhere.
a semi-regional chain. It's in a decent amount of states, but it's a chicken restaurant, and they literally only sell chicken fingers. they have like 4 items on the menu. It's like you can get 3 chicken fingers, you can get 6 chicken fingers, and you can get 9 chicken fingers.
Or
and
you
then
can
you
get
can get it
chicken
like chicken fingers in like a bun. Yeah. Right. So this is good in many ways. First thing is they can get great economies of scale.
Yeah.
Because they literally buy one
product.
I mean, you know, they gotta buy bread or French fries. I mean, they have fries, but again, like they don't buy nearly as many things as like
hamburger patties.
Yeah, McDonald's, like how it compared to McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing: so not only do they get economies of scale on their side, but they're able to use economies of scale to, get really good prices on the chicken. But then they can also get their quality up. Yeah. So it turns out that, I mean, I think anyone would agree. You know, I'm sure there's little like smaller. I'm talking about, this is a chain, but if you could think of any chicken chain in Arizona, at least in Phoenix, everyone would be like, yeah, Raising Cane's, like that's the one. Like if it's not Raising Cane's, then like it's not going to be as good, right? Yeah. I mean, how about even KFC? It's like, yeah, their niche is chicken, but it's like, well, they have like drumsticks, they have,
nobody goes to KFC, I feel like, out here. They just go to Raising Cane's.
Yeah, or KFC, like then they're like, oh, well, we have coleslaw, we have mashed potatoes, we have beans, and all of it's terrible because they have to try to juggle all these things.
Sav, can you check the thing? See if it's not the camera.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, cut that part out.
I think it's fine. It doesn't matter. I don't want to interrupt you. I just wanted to make sure we're still rolling.
Okay, so basically, these restaurants are niching down, and then of course a counter argument. Well, McDonald's has everything. Yeah, well, guess what?
Pretty much everything.
And mostly everything at McDonald's is pretty average. But the reason why people would go to McDonald's over like Raising Cane's, for example, is because they do have a variety of things. So yeah, like they're good at offering a variety of things, but it's kind of average. But if you wanted like something that's really good,
nobody goes to McDonald's for a really good cheeseburger.
Yeah, right.
Nobody's like, yo, I want amazing chicken nuggets.
But if you go to
McDonald's,
but if you go to Five Guys, it's like burgers. That's their thing.
Yeah. It's also, I think you also get really proficient at your service delivery when you only have a handful of products too. Yeah,
like what could go wrong if
let's say back to my accounting example, if I'm a tax accountant and I only offer one service, because this is another way you could, for accountants or like lawyers or whatever, because there's like, you can micro niche down to the industry, but then there's people that still offer like 20 products in that industry. If let's say I only offer tax planning or something, and I don't know how it would work. Maybe I generate you like a 10-page PDF report. If that's literally all I do for a niche, I could probably find some sort of software or build a tool where I can pump one of those reports out like this and that. Because how much variation can there be for construction company tax deductions between this amount of income and this amount of income? I'm sure there's probably, once I become an expert in that, I could probably build a template of the PDF file that I'm essentially selling to people. Because at the end of the day, that's your key deliverable. Yeah. If I can get that done, now all I need to do to provide the actual service for a client, it might take me an hour versus maybe somebody else who's doing all these different products. It might take them 20 hours of work to put together this report, but I only offer the report, and I've got it to a point where I know what can go in and can't go in there, that I can essentially just change the client's name, flip around a couple of the figures, check it for accuracy, and then just pump those out like like it's nothing. Yeah. But if you're doing every sort of service, you got to really, you got to know every software tool in and out if you're trying to get any sort of efficiency in your business. Like you might have to master Photoshop, you might need to master Final Cut Pro, Premiere, you know, just like everything. Or
back to the whole this applies to pretty much anything, but back to the chicken restaurant, Raising Cane's, where they have like coleslaw and they have French fries, but that's the only things that they really have besides the bread that they. But again, those are really easy to put together.
Toasting some bread is nothing.
So the thing is that when you want to scale up and you want to build up a team of people, if you're really just focusing on one thing, like making chicken fingers, it's so easy to train people.
Yeah, your service.
So you don't have to mess around. Like how about at McDonald's? Like McDonald's, when they bring on a new team member, they gotta be like, well, this is how you do ice cream, and this is how you do
the coffee,
and this is how you do French fries. This is how you do chicken nuggets. So it's so much more complicated. And
it's a service delivery, dude. It's like if I
Yeah.
only sell one PDF, how much
Yeah.
can I really have to teach a new team member?
Right.
You know, like
And let's face it, this is the truth in any industry, but the simpler the job, the less you have to pay the person. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously
Just less
everyone
headaches.
deserves to have a fair and good wage, but again, like you're
you don't want to have to look
like
for
I don't want to
experts
make this
hire.
sound evil or bad. It's like, but any business, ideally a business wants to have people working for them that are replaceable, because if someone leaves on their own terms, or someone you have to get rid of them or whatever, if they're replaceable, then they're not going to leave you.
Yeah. What are they?
Like-
There's no
like it's
term
not-
for that in business.
It's not going to. Yeah.
I think it's key player risk or something.
Oh, almost like if you had like a CPA firm and you
only
have,
one guy
like,
actually
and-
knows
yeah,
how
and
to do
only
the
one
task.
guy knows how to do it. Yeah, I mean,
It's
how
like
about-
if you build a basketball team and you only have one good player, like you have a team and it's only LeBron and like a bunch of scrubs. You don't want suddenly LeBron gets all the leverage on your team, and if he leaves, your team is just decimated. Like you don't want that. You want to be able to just LeBron left. Well, we have 13 other guys that can do his exact job. Like
yeah.
you want to keep.
I mean, how about Breaking Bad? I don't want to get demonetized
show.
here, so I don't want to say exactly what he did. But let's just say he did something that was
I doubt we're monetized in the first place.
okay.
Just saying.
Fine. Well, I think most people have watched Breaking Bad, but basically Walter White, the main character, he's like a really good meth cook, and what
best in the
happened was
business.
towards
He's
the
niched
end,
down.
yeah,
He doesn't make coke.
Yeah, he
He
doesn't
doesn't
make all these
sell
other
weed.
drugs. He just makes
Doesn't make
meth.
heroin.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like a certain type apparently. But
blue
what I'm
stuff.
getting, the point I'm trying to make out of this is that then what was it that he had, that it was some gangsters or something like kidnapped him to have him like make it for, like manufacture it for them. But their big thing was like, we need you to teach us how to do it, or to teach a bunch of people how to do it, because if you get like killed or something like that, or I don't know, or whatever, they don't want to leverage all their risk on this one guy. So
Yeah. And
I know
then-
that kind of took a
and
wild
then,
turn
like-
there, but the point is that
But to
you
finish
never want
that
to make a
story-
business where you rely on somebody. You want it to be a standardized process.
Yeah, and like to even end off that story, the other guys could never get as good as he could get, so the product was weak. Like it wasn't, didn't reach the same level of purity or something like that. So like the business still wasn't completely feasible because they could never get the product to be right if the one guy wasn't there, Walter wasn't there.
Like, do you think Walmart wants to hire employees that have leverage over the company?
Yeah.
No, they want to hire employees that they can tell to do whatever they want. And if they
want,
don't like it,
slightly
and
above-
if they don't like it, then Walmart will say, get a different job, get out of here.
Yeah.
And then they'll bring someone else on, and after 2 days, that person's trained and good to go.
Just as good as the first guy.
Right, because
Yeah.
it's a standardized training process. So again, this all kind of circulates back. I mean, I guess Walmart, they kind of niche. Their
Their
whole
niche
niche
is
is that
price.
their niche is that they offer almost anything you'd need, but then everything's like pretty low quality.
Yeah, their niche
So-
is being the lowest priced person in the
Right.
game.
Like if you're
Company
looking
in the
for
game.
really nice furniture, you don't go to Walmart.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for furniture, just any furniture you can get your hands on, yeah, they'll you could buy a chair there that's pretty, that works. But again, like if you're looking for the best chair, the best mattress, the best whatever, you're gonna go to a specialty store for those items.
You're gonna go to a mattress store.
Right. Yeah. You're not gonna go to Walmart asking them, oh, do you have any like $2,000 mattresses? They're gonna be like, no.
Yeah.
No, we don't specialize in that. We offer
like
the
if
bare
you're-
minimum.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like you're trying
So
to
it's
get
like
a good
McDonald's,
suit. Like
same
you don't.
thing. Ironically, McDonald's and Walmart are usually in the same building sometimes. So,
Yeah.
But they're kind of the same. Like McDonald's is to food what Walmart is to retail, in a sense.
Yeah. For real.
So yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that sums up the point. Is like in this, if you want to be a real player in this economy, you have to specialize in something and get really good at that thing. Once you, and the other nice thing about that is once you're really good at something, you can charge a lot more for it.
yeah,
An expert in their field can ask a higher price than a general practitioner dipping their toe in that field.
yeah,
Like a lawyer who specializes on DUIs can ask for more than the family lawyer that that is just helping you out with your DUI.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's why Now, for a restaurant like Cane's, they don't really charge more than the competition. But again, because they have
They don't really
economies
have
of scale on their
competition,
side, yeah, they really don't. I mean,
If you want chicken fingers, there's really no place better to go around here than
yeah.
going to.
I mean, there might be like a mom and pop, like a one
one-off.
location thing somewhere
Yeah.
that's like better. But yeah, again, yeah. So I mean, it's like also like think about Taco Bell is another example. Like yeah, they have like a little bit of everything when it comes to like that kind of stuff. But the best place to get a taco is usually like a taco shop where like they only do tacos.
yeah.
Yeah,
Facts.
like Mr. Mesquite, for example,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
in Old Town.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's near where we live.
Yeah.
So, but
Well,
anyway,
I think that sums it up. I mean, I feel like
I
these
feel like we
episodes always
kind of made
fly
our
by.
point. Yeah, I feel like we pretty much made our point.
Which
But
again, that's a niche. We're not going to talk about a bunch of random stuff in this episode. We got what we needed. We talked about niching down.
Well,
and we're kinda done.
yeah. I mean, the whole point of this podcast is a niche, or it's more of a micro niche, really.
Yeah.
It's
Get as
we
specialized
don't.
as
It's
you
not
can.
just a business podcast. It's like a start your own business type podcast.
Yeah.
But even then, like we focus mostly on like content marketing with professional services.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty fire
So-
stuff there, right?
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Again, this is Kevin Breeze,
Great to be here.
Sean Gill CPA. This is a Sean Gill CPA podcast. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. Ask some questions in the comments.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts.
And shout out to the
Raising
behind the
Cane's.
scenes help that we have.
Yeah. Shout out to Sav for making
Yeah.
sure our recording doesn't shut off. And subscribe, hit the bell button thing for
Yeah.
the notifications and the algorithm, and peace out.
Bye, everybody.
I like Shawn.